Yeah, I know that I said Sonic Lost World would be my next review, but that's because I completely forgot that Thor Ragnarok and Justice League came out this month, and oh boy do I love talking about these movies. Anyway, Thor Ragnarok is the 17th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Think about that, 17 films in a single series in less than a decade. And that's not including all the TV shows, which I probably should review at some point. But anyway, by clicking there you can see my opinions on the other Thor films, or if you want me to summarize myself, both of them are some of the worst films in the MCU, and I had very low expectations when I heard we were getting a Thor 3. But they hired Taika Waititi, and instead of using the heavy, dark atmosphere that made the other films so generic, this focuses squarely on comedy. The movie is absolutely hilarious and has such a quick pace to its editing and its action. At every corner, there is something that will keep you excited. Whether it's the jokes that almost always land, the character interactions that are always top-notch, or the visuals which are constantly stunning, you will be hooked into this movie's world. Rather than the futuristic fantasy style the other Thor films had, this follows more of an 80s space action film. The more fantastical setting is set more toward the first act of the movie, and once Thor gets back to Asgard, it essentially becomes slowly more futuristic until it fully culminates to full-blown 80s style cheese when they get to Sakaar. But let me talk about that first act, because almost all of my problems stem from the beginning of the movie. And that's not 100% its own fault. Since it is, let me iterate, the 17th film in less than a decade, it does have a lot of sequel baggage from past films. Like Loki beating Odin for nearly 3 years at this point, which is something that is almost immediately tossed aside when Thor gets back because Tom Hiddleston demands screen time. The after credits scene of Thor Dark World is pretty much ignored in a single line with Loki saying that Jane Foster dumped Thor. Again, the exchange is hilarious, but it is established as such an important part of Thor's character with that moment, and it just seems off when it's mentioned. Hela's introduction and motivation just seems haphazardly thrown in there. The idea of the goddess of death was never really fleshed out in the series, and she more or less just became a villain of the week. Taika Waititi really knows how to not waste a performance. Even for a character with weak motivations, Cate Blanchett knocks it out of the park and is one of the more memorable performances in this film. She's so loud, so sassy, so demanding that it's impossible not to love her when she's on screen. And the only time I feel that it does use the other movies to develop a character is with the Hulk. He has been out of the franchise for the past 2 years, and we see here that after the events of Age of Ultron, he never reverted back. Unlike before where the Hulk was a mindless monster and Bruce Banner got the development, they actually take the time to develop the Hulk as a character. The creature hates the fact that he's only called out when he needs to punch something and is hated every other time. So in a world where he's under constant stress and is adored for fighting, the Hulk forces himself out and becomes his own character. Unlike before where it always seems like Banner was more or less the one in charge. I hope it's something that they continue with down the line because seeing this side of the character was a truly welcomed thing. Honestly, the whole film is the exact shot in the arm that the series needed. As I said earlier, it stands out being a comedy film first, and unlike Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it does not interrupt scenes and pacing for its comedy. The way this film is funny is by having the characters interact with each other or by making genuinely funny things as a part of the narrative itself. It never stops being dead in its tracks funny, and that is the best thing I can say about Thor Ragnarok. It puts being entertaining, funny, and just a general good time before anything else, and it becomes one of the most engaging and fun movies the entire MCU has to offer. This gets a 9 out of 10.
Hey guys, thanks for watching! If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to see more reviews, then click the playlist to see my other stupid opinions. Alright, see you next video!